Kia ora everyone. Before I start, I just wanted to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel and who have shared their experience and advice in the comments. I really appreciate the support. It has been great to connect with those who are beginning their trading journey and also those who are more experienced in the game and have shared their knowledge. Ka nui te mihi ki a koutou katoa. On to day 29, another paper trading session in the books, and this one was solid. I focused on the leading stocks, waited for confirmation, and for the most part, took setups within my strategy. The result? High accuracy, good trades, and more importantly, I traded with discipline. I had to keep this trading session short though, as I had an early start the next day for my day job, so it meant going back to bed early, which also meant this video was a little late in being posted, so aroha mai. With that said, let's break down the trades. So today I traded, the other day, on Friday, I traded BGLC, MSPR. MSPR was a leading gapper on the day at the start of pre-market. And then I traded VERO, which is a continuation stock. I think it was Tuesday that it first popped, and it sort of popped up again in pre-market on Friday. So stat-wise, we are looking at 6 wins, 6 green, 1 red, 85% win rate, which is really good accuracy. And what I was really happy with was the 5.85 risk-reward ratio. Average win is 35 versus my average loss of $6. So really good risk-reward ratio, and this is what I really want to work on in my live trading, is keeping my losers smaller so that my risk reward ratio or my average winners are much bigger than my average losers. And I really did that on Friday, so that was good. BGLC, let's go over that first trade. So this is what I saw when I first had watched BGLC. It had popped up through VWAP previously, come down and retested it a few times, and it was popping again. So I took it here. I've marked out the pivot point here, previous high. It broke that on that candle, and that's where I entered. On that break, you can see the volume bar here as well. Much more volume that came in on that candle that broke through. I held here, even though it's pulling back, looking for that push higher and the volume to come in on the green side, which it did. It pushed higher up here, and then I took my exit. There. Didn't really get an exit indicator here. It did pull back, micro pull back there, but it did look like it was going to hold on the 10-second chart. So topping tail there, sort of pushing up, and I took my exit up here. Did I think it was going to go further? Not really. And also, you know, that's a decent trade there. How much was that? That was 35 cents per share, that trade. So nice easy trade to start with, and good entry, confident entry on the break of the pivot of the previous high there, and good confirmation of the volume coming in, and a good hold to the exit. So I was happy with that. That was good. So I'll fast forward to the next trade, which was on MSPR. MSPR was kind of an interesting one. It's a leading gapper. The news on it I didn't think was that great. About restructuring, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but I've gone back too far, haven't I? That is, yeah, that's BGLC, sorry. We'll come forward here. MSPR, yep, here we go. So MSPR, I was watching this, sort of going sideways here, but then it had a burst here of volume, and I took the entry here at VWAP when it broke here. Sorry, it's going 5 times speed. But yeah, it popped up here, and I took a quick exit. I did think it was going to push higher, but then it started the thing that I called. When it sort of dropped down here and was pushing up, I was like, no, that's it, I'm out. And luckily I did. It did flush, surprisingly, quite a bit there. It didn't hold above VWAP at all. And this is when I thought I might take the entry on the dip. It's sort of holding this area here around $3. And I thought, well, let's buy in around that area on support and see if it holds. So I'm in here and it's popping up. Didn't want to take this yet. And sometimes with a dip, it's good to just, I guess, get out pretty quickly. So if it does push back down, you've locked in your profit. And then if it looks like it's confirming to go back up, then you can probably buy back in. But I just held. Obviously, I'm probably feeling a bit more confident paper trading, so I'm not so. I'm not going to get shaken out as easily as when I trade live. I do tend to get shaken out of trades that I should be holding. So this trade here is not really within my strategy. If I was live trading, I probably wouldn't have bought this dip. And also at the moment with my trading and where my account is, and I don't want to be buying dips because there's a saying you don't want to catch a falling knife, and a dip is going the wrong direction really for me to be buying in on the long side. So with dip trading, you've got to be pretty confident that it's going to bounce. And in this trade, I was confident that it was going to bounce. It was coming down to a support level. Even though the red volume candle was quite high, there was also a lot of buying pressure at the start. So yeah, I'll just fast forward this again. So it did bounce and break back through VWAP, and then I took my exit on the break of VWAP. So there it is there. So, and I was out. I'm pretty sure that was pretty much it. It's quite difficult paper trading, and especially trading like this paper trading, because I'm not actually executing orders by pushing a button or anything like that. It really relies on my honesty about the trade and where I'm getting in and out. So when I'm trading to buy in on a paper trade like this, I'm looking at the ask price, and I don't buy in on the bid or anything like that, although sometimes you can get filled on the bid, especially if the price is dropping quite quickly, and you might get a good bounce and a good fill on the bid. But generally I buy in on the ask when I'm paper trading, and then when I'm selling on the bid price. So I'll usually say, right, I'm out, and then it's the price on the ask or the bid if I'm getting out of a trade. So it does rely on honesty and that sort of thing. So, and also, even when you push the button, you might see a price on the thing. When you're live trading, you still might not get filled at that price. So it is a bit of discretion around, when you get filled and stuff like that. So, but a lot of these trades, and because I'm only trading, 100 or 200 shares, generally I get filled pretty easily. If I was trading thousands of shares, then it would be a bit of a different story with this type of paper trading. But the problem about these two trades is, if I look here, actually if I move that out of the way. So the problem with both of these trades is, in my strategy, is that the MACD is closed. Now, because it was coming up to break through the MACD, it is probably okay, but the dip trade was definitely a lower quality trade, or a lower quality setup, so higher risk than the first one that was breaking into the upside. So taking this dip trade here was, a bit more of a higher risk. Also, it was a B quality trade for me because the MACD is closed, and also because it's below the VWAP. So, really I'm trying to focus on keeping my trades, the higher quality trades, when they're above the VWAP in bullish territory, not the bearish, below the VWAP in bearish territory. But other than that, that was a good trade as well in the end, and held well through that trade to get a good exit. Waiting for those sort of indicators, higher red candles, more selling coming in on the level 2. Next trades were on, what were the next traders on? I went back to BGLC. I'll just bring that up. BGLC. So that was my first trade there. Okay. So it looks like I'm buying in here on the break of this candle here, and to be honest, it's probably a bit preemptive, really. It's not really confirming that it's going up. It's actually pulling back, and now I'm thinking of taking or stopping out. So on these breakout ones, I mean, you'd probably take it at the bottom of the previous candle, but I've already missed that, and then it's popped back up anyway. So I'm putting in my stop level. So it's the bottom of this green candle. If it comes back down and breaks down through that green candle there, it's it'll be a red trade. But it's above the VWAP. It's pushed back off the VWAP. I've missed the bounce off the VWAP, and then really the entry here, the better entry would have been here on the break of this first green candle for the push higher. It is obviously got a bit of resistance along this level here, and it's pulled back. I get a bit antsy sometimes and I flick between trades. So we're back, we're having a look at that one, back to MSPR. But back to BGLC, and now it's broken through that level and it's broken up. And now I'm looking at the level 2, looking for an exit. So there's some selling here, and there we go. It's pushing, the volume comes in on the green candle here, and it's making a nice breakout through a previous pivot point here. And here I think it looks like it's pulling back, but it's on the 10-second chart you can see that it's bought back up on that red candle there, but it is struggling around this point. What was the exit here? That was so I've taken the exit there because I didn't push straight away and break up further, because often you are looking for a pullback, slight selling on the new candle, and then a push and a break through that with more volume. That didn't happen. It didn't look like it was going to happen, so I took my exit there. Then on this trade here, I'm getting in a bit aggressively on the pullback. So I'm looking at getting back in on the pullback for it to push back higher. But really, what I should be doing is looking for confirmation that it is going to break higher. And that confirmation could be that, it holds this level and then breaks, makes a green candle and then breaks that green candle to push higher. But at the moment it's putting in a look like a red doji. But it's more selling coming in. It's more red on the tape. Bit of green there, but then some bigger orders coming in here on the ask. And it's come down here and I'm out. That's my stop there, and I'm out on that level. And then it breaks down back to a VWAP. And that was why I think my last trade on BGLC. Let's have a look. BGLC, yeah. So that was the red trade that I had there, and that was 6 cents loss on there. So that was fine. The last 2 trades I did in VERO, they were definitely, one of them was definitely outside my strategy. This one here. So I did notice that Vero had I'd had an alarm set here, so I'd set a level where I thought if it broke that level, I would come back and look at it. So it wasn't a buy signal or anything like that straight away, it was just to come back and look. And then it pushed this big candle over VWAP, and it looked like volume was coming in. So I basically jumped in on it there, thinking that the volume was going to come back in and it was going to push through VWAP, and looking at taking around this level here around $6, $6.20. It didn't, it pulled back, and it pulled back quite a bit. Like I'm in at 530, what was it, 533 or 534 or something like that, and it pulled all the way back down to $5. So it's a pretty decent loss, but it did buy back up pretty much immediately, and so I held on this. Also, the selling volume on this was a lot lighter at this stage. Did it stay that way? I don't know. Let's have a look. Yeah. So here it's pushing again and coming back up to my entry. But then it's red again. But it keeps buying up. There's someone in there that's, some buyers coming in and pushing the stock back up. So I thought there was there's a good chance that it will break through VWAP. There's more volume coming in on the green side, and that's looking, quite bullish. There's more green on the tape. There are a few sellers though on the ask, but then it breaks through those sellers and pushes up, breaks through VWAP. I'm still looking for, because of the range on this stock, there's a bit of a spread. I'm looking for it to go further than, say, I normally would on a spread that's like, basically a cent difference between the bid and the ask. And I know previously, I think this one moved quite well earlier in the week. So it's pushing up here, and now I'm looking at, right, it's over my profit line, I'm looking for an exit. So my exit really was, I was thinking was around 620, but it came up to 612, and then, did it break? Can't remember. I don't think it did. I think I was quite happy to take it here. So that was it, just over $6. I was waiting to see if it was going to push back up over. I don't think it did. I think, so I was thinking about possibly getting back in here, but I think I left it. I'm just going to fast forward. Yeah, so it pulled back here and really so I kept going back to MSPR, looking for this to break back through VWAP, but it really struggled. It just didn't have the legs to come back and actually put in a good trade. So, or to get over VWAP into bulls territory. What's this one? This is BGLC again, coming up and breaking through VWAP. I didn't take this trade here, even though it broke through VWAP, and I thought, oh, where's the VWAP break? It's breaking the first green candle. It's just the volume. It was like the first green candle had the volume, more volume, but the second one that broke VWAP, there's just no volume coming in. It was half the volume as the previous candle, and it just said to me, no, there's not volume coming into that. It's not worth the risk of getting into that, and so I didn't take a trade on BGLRX. Sorry, I'll just go back and just, yeah. So you can see here that the green volume bar here, for the one that it's broken through the VWAP here, but you know, the next candle that it forms is only not even half the volume of the previous green. And that just says to me that it's not going to go, it's not going to break, it's going to hold here and then probably pull back, which what it looked like it was doing. So no trade there. I'll just fast forward a bit. So the next trade, I was coming back to VRO because I thought this may go again if it holds along this $5 area here. Sorry, is this? Yeah, if it holds along the $5, then it might push back over and break VWAP again. So I was kind of seeing what it does. I wasn't looking at taking a trade down here again below the VWAP. I was really wanting to see if it broke through and looking at it taking a break and see here where it breaks, I get in. There's increasing volume coming in on that candle. And this is the difference between the previous one on BGLC is the volume that's coming in on the break here pushes up, lower volume selling on that red candle. So I held looking for it to break through, and it breaks through here. Once again, I'm looking at, yeah, oops, that's probably a bit fast. Oops, there we go. Oh, I'm already out. So here it's pulled back. I'm looking here and it's like, no, I'm out. It's not looking like it's going to push. So I got out pretty quick there. And then, yeah, that was my confirmation that I'm out. And yeah, it's just struggling to break up through that 595 area. And I think that was it. That was the last trade I took. And by this stage it was, what was that? Coming up to 8 o'clock. Coming out to 7:45, and I wanted to finish around 8 o'clock on Friday to get out for my day job the next day. I had to be up at 6 o'clock, so 8 o'clock is around midnight. Did I get that right? Around midnight my time. So I had to get up at 6 o'clock to drive 2.5 hours to my job the next morning. So I didn't trade the next break. So the next break on VRO was this one here. And I mean, I probably wouldn't have traded this if I was live trading, to be honest. It's, even though it worked well and I traded it pretty well on paper, it's a stock that's had continuation. There's no new news on it. Really, it's not a very good looking chart, to be honest. And, you know, it was really just those couple of moments where that I jumped in the trades and did well on them and got in and out pretty quickly. The next one here, you can see the volume's lighter. If you look on the volume bars, sorry, I still got those green ones up from last time. But if you look at the volume bars now, it's pulled back, but the volume's a lot lighter than previously. And so it's declining in volume now on here. So it's more risky to take this next trade. So I didn't get in on this one. And if I fast forward, because I sort of flicked around a few stocks, and I was actually putting in my stats on my sheet. Yeah, here it is. Is this it? VERO. Yeah. So I came back to VERO here, and it did make a decent effort. Volume came back in, it pushed up here, it broke through that previous pivot point. But I just still did not really trust it. You know, here the MACD's open. Sorry, I am doing some other stuff here. You can see that, you know, the MACD's open here, but once again the volume's declining. And look at that, massive volume buying, and it's going nowhere. There's a massive seller in there. And then it just dumps. You know, it just, you saw that, here, I'll replay it. Yeah, really. Let's go back. I was flicking between screens here. So you can see here that it's buying in. There's, you know, some green coming in, and 331, and then there's all this noise on the ask. I don't know why it does that, but it's just, yeah, there's just a lot of red on the tape, and it must be 8 o'clock, because this is what Trade Zero does at 8 o'clock. There's a whole lot of orders that get put through that are outside of that bid and the ask, and yeah, but it just starts selling off. Yeah, and it just, yeah, basically, bit of green coming in there, but then it's just not going anywhere. Pops up there, but then straight back down, and then it just really gives out. Yeah, now it's starting to drop, It's 9, 6, 10, and here's some support there around $6, but it's just not enough to push it up. Breaks down through $6, breaks down through the 20 EMA. And there's a bit of flash of green there. Another bit of green coming in, pushing it back to $6, but there you go, onto $6, breaks $6 again. I'm just going to speed this up a bit. But there, let's come back. We'll just see what's on the level 2 here. Yeah, some big sellers came in there on the ask and it just dumped. And then with those big sellers coming in again, you can see there like 12,000 shares, 14,000 shares that they're selling on the ask. And that just dumped the stock all the way back down. Yeah, from around $6 to around $4.24 it dumped down to. So yeah, big flush there, glad I wasn't in that. But that was pretty much it for VERO as well. Although there's a big bounce, if you managed to buy in around 420, 430 or somewhere around there, it was a decent bounce. But very, very risky bounce dip trade there. Yeah, so that was it. So a lot of volume. So let's go back to, I'll just stop that, jump back onto my trades. So paper traded twice this week, on Wednesday and Friday. You can see the clear difference between when I paper trade and when I live trade. The confidence that I have in my paper trading, I don't have that hesitation that I have in my live trading, which I really have to work on. And on my live trading account, that was last month, April. Yeah, you can see 4 losses already this month, 4 red days, and that is pretty much my limit for red days during the month. I sort of allow 1 red day a week, and so that's 4 a month basically. But yeah, I'm already at that limit already, and that's another reason why I'm taking a step back, doing some paper trading, and then looking at only taking 1 trade, live trade a day if there's something that meets all my criteria and I get a good setup for the trade. So yeah, lots to work on next week. And if I go back to the paper trade here, definitely some good trades there on Friday, some better waiting discipline around confirmation for those trades, but also a couple of trades in there that were good winners but were obviously higher risk. So today's a reminder that even in paper account, building good habits matters. Most of these trades fit within my strategy, and I wanted to keep stacking sessions like this. There wasn't a setup of stock that fit within my rules of taking a live trade on Friday, although MSPR was a leading gapper and met my stock criteria. The news wasn't that great, and really it struggled to push over VWAP. The bears seemed to be more in control of that one, so I just decided not to take a live trade at all. Let me know in the comments if you're also paper trading right now or thinking about switching back. What are you working on? Remember to like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of my trading journey. Thanks to those who have subscribed. I will see you next week. Hei te rā wiki.